I'm going to show you how you can set up hosting for your website. However, before I do that, I want to run you through two different hosting solutions. First is Bluehost. So this is more of a hosting company for those who are running on a budget. And it's actually pretty good because you actually give you a free domain for the first year. So if you remember in the last video, we just bought that domain, Cutting HQ, and we paid, I think, £7 for the year. Well, when you set up hosting through Bluehost, they actually give you that domain for free for the first year. Now, the reason why I have been recommending Bluehost is because it is one of the cheapest hosting companies out there. You can host your website online and literally get it live for just £2.20 a month, which is just under $3. So really, really cheap. Now, for the sake of transparency, a lot of people have messaged me and said Bluehost have gone downhill. The support is really bad. They keep changing their interface so they don't know where to click or find things anymore. So this is just me highlighting that so you're aware of that issue. However, if you are running on a budget and you want to keep the costs super low, then Bluehost is a company I recommend. Just be aware that it can be a little bit painful to get things set up, although I'm sure there's tons and tons of guides online on how to set up Bluehost hosting, as it's one of the biggest hosting companies out there. If you already have a hosting company you use, maybe 123reg, or you use GoDaddy, for example, then obviously feel free to go and use your current host. I'm just running you through a couple of different options. The second option, which is my favorite and is one I've been using more and more recently, ClickSlice, our agency website, is actually hosted on Cloudways, and that is the second option, cloudways.com. So the reason why I like Cloudways is because instead of just adding your website onto an existing server where other websites are also on that server, Cloudways give you a dedicated server, meaning you are the only website on that server. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means number one, your site is going to load typically a lot quicker than if you was on a shared hoster. For example, a server that Bluehost would give you, they would have one server and put 10 different clients or 5 different clients on that same server. So that can definitely have an impact on your site speed. Site speed is a massive thing when it comes to SEO. So I kind of like to reduce any risk possible and just give myself the best odds of succeeding. The second reason why I recommend Cloudways is because the support is absolutely amazing. I know this and I can vouch for it as I was literally on a live chat a couple of hours ago before recording this video. So Cloudways is a little bit more expensive than Bluehost. If I go to pricing, you'll see if you scroll down the page, you've got multiple different options. For example, you can have a server with DigitalOcean, which is a hosting company. You can have an AWS, an Amazon server, a Google Cloud server, and as you click those, but pretty much the bulk of the time, I recommend you go for DigitalOcean. It's one of the cheapest ones out there, and the performance is really, really good. So for the premium hosting, the cheapest is $12 per month. However, we don't actually need premium. Standard is more than sufficient for what we need for our affiliates website. And as you can see, for a standard hosting solution, it's $10 per month. So compare that to Bluehost, which is roughly about $3. It's about 3 times the price. So choose whichever solution is best for you and then go ahead and get your hosting set up. So for the sake of this training video, I'm going to be using Cloudways as I already have an account with them and lots of sites and servers on it. So I'll show you how you can set up hosting if you choose to go with Cloudways. So first, let me log into my account. Once you create an account with Cloudways, you want to go and log in and then go to the server tab and then click add server. So the first thing you need to do is create a server and then add your website onto that server. So let's go for my application. I'll go for WordPress 5.9. So what's actually quite interesting is when you look at other hosting companies such as Bluehost, for example, they list down all the benefits: free domain for the first year, free SSL, one-click WordPress install. And if you have no experience of websites and hosting, you may just assume that anyone who doesn't list this doesn't offer that service. But pretty much 9 out of 10 hosting companies allow you to do all of these things. So you can do all of this with Cloudways as well. So don't worry if you was wondering. So I'll go for WordPress, name your managed app. So here I'm just going to enter in the name of my website and name of your managed server, Cutting HQ. Again, I'll leave it the same. Select your project. I'll just leave it as ClickSlice. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really mean anything. After that, we can go ahead and select the company we'd actually like to use for our hosting solution. So Cloudways is pretty much a platform and multiple hosting companies can actually list the hosting packages on Cloudways. That's why you're seeing so many different companies here: Google, Amazon, DigitalOcean. But we want to make sure we have DigitalOcean. We can see how much this actual server is going to cost us, $22. And the reason why it's $22 is because our server size is currently set to 2 gigs. So you can reduce that if you want to 1 gig, it will come down to $10. You do get a little warning saying recommended 2 gig or higher for production websites. 1 gig is for WordPress staging or low traffic website. If you are going ahead with an EMD and you're just writing content about a specific topic and niche, well, your website is not going to be that big and it shouldn't get millions of visitors in terms of traffic every month. So you should be more than sufficient going for 1 gig. The great thing about Cloudways as well is that you can start off with a low server size, and as your website starts to increase in traffic, you can very easily increase the server size. So if you find out you're getting way more traffic than you anticipated, you can literally go into your Cloudways settings or even contact them on live chat and ask them to increase your server size. So instead of paying a lot of money up front from the start, like $22, you can keep things cheap and increase it as your website and affiliate income increases. So one of the great things about Cloudways is it allows you to pick your server location. So this is where your server is going to be based in the world. So by default, when you click DigitalOcean, it should be selected on London. However, as I'm targeting the US, or the main focus of my keywords is all based on google.com, I actually want to change this from London to a US location. So I can go for New York, San Francisco, and that's pretty much it for the US. However, I will go for San Francisco. Why not? It doesn't really make any difference. As long as my server is in the location of the country I am targeting, that's going to help me for geo-relevancy. So once you've done that, just go ahead and click Launch Now. And just like that, Cloudways is now adding my server, and you can see it'll be ready in roughly 7 minutes. So what I'll do is we'll fast forward and come back when it's done. And just like that, 7 minutes is over. So once you created your server, you want to go into Applications and then click Add Application here at the top. And now we can select the server we've just created, which is going to be this one right here at the bottom. I did say I've got a lot of servers. And then click Add Application. And now we want to specify what application we want to add on the server. So let's go for Select and go for version 5.9, so a WordPress website. So what we're doing here is pretty much installing WordPress onto the server we've just created. So what is this website going to be called? Well, it's going to be called cuttinghq.com. Leave the project as whatever it is, doesn't really matter. And let's click Add Application. And finally, we need to wait another 2 minutes just for that application to be added onto the server. Once the application has installed, you want to go ahead and click into it. Sometimes if you click it, it will lead you back to the server level. So just make sure you go into Applications again by clicking on Applications in the top menu and then click into your application. And it should open up a page which looks like this. So at the moment, this is our application URL. And if we open it up, you can see it says WordPress-7758.cloudwaysapp.com. So what we want to do is link our domain name to this application. So let me show you how to do that now. So what you need to do is go to Domain Management on the left-hand side and literally enter in your domain name. So mine will be www. and we've got cuttinghq.com and then click Save Changes. So now our domain is connected to Cloudways, and what we need to do next is link Cloudways to our domain. Once the two are linked, our website will be live. So to link Cloudways to our domain, what we need to do is go back to our server details. Find our server for the website we just created, cuttinghq. If we then click into that under the server level, it will give us our public IP address. What we need to do is add this to our DNS settings where we bought the domain from. So let's click to copy that. I obviously bought my domain from Namecheap, as you saw. I'm currently in my settings for cuttinghq.com. So what I want to do is go to my DNS settings. You can see I have the option right here. Of course, if you're using a different domain register, the menu is going to look a little bit different, but pretty much you want to find your DNS settings. If you're struggling to find it and actually do this, just hit up your name register on live chat and they should happily guide you through the process. So at the moment, we have what we call 2 records on our DNS. We've got a CNAME record and a URL redirect. So what we want to do is delete both of these. We don't need any of them here, like so. And then I want to add a new record, and I want to go for the record type called a record. For the host, I'll go for www. And the value, I'm going to paste in my IP address, which I've just taken from Cloudways, my public IP. So copy that and then put that down as the value. The TTL can remain as automatic. Let's add another A record as we need 2. And this time for the host, you want to go for the @ symbol, and the value is going to be exactly the same. It's going to be your server IP address. Again, TTL, leave it as automatic. And just for reference, TTL stands for time to live. So let's just click that to save. and we'll click that to save as well. Once you've done that, your domain name and Cloudways will be fully synced up and working together. So we go back into our Cloudways settings, go into applications, then go into our cuttinhq.com, our website. You can see now under application URL, it's changed from that WordPress -775, whatever it was before, and we have our main domain name right here, cuttinhq.com, and this is exactly how it needs to be. So if we go ahead and click this little icon right now to visit our website, you can see it now loads at cuttinhq.com. Don't worry about the theme, we're going to get all of this sorted on in just a moment. The one thing you will notice is that the website says not secure, and that is because we do not have an SSL certificate on it. So I'll show you how to do that in the next video, as this one was just to show you how to set up website hosting.